So yeah, the thumbnail is it clickbait? Oh, you're absolutely right, it's clickbait. Do I care? Nah, not really, I don't really give a shit. So either way, let's go into the Guild War. So hey, we're looking at a Ran team with a Lilias and a Senya. So whatever I usually use to fight this team is I like to go in with Silvertide, Christy, Crescent, Bellona, and... oh, well, it shows how bad my memory is. And Elena. So I use Elena a lot of the times because whenever you go in from that first turn from Ran, she'll usually keep you cleansed, she'll get you healed up, and then it pretty much becomes like a coin flip of whoever Ran's going to attack and if 2311 RNL actually happens. So I use this team a lot, and mainly because the Ran, Lilias, and Senya team is pretty fucking cancer, and a lot of the times it's really cancer just because of straight up RNG. But anytime you're not dealing with RNL and you really get through that first wave of turns, which a lot of the times, guess what? Sometimes shit ain't even properly speed tuned. A lot of the times you'll see like Lilias end up taking the turn before the Senya, and then thus the S3 really doesn't do anywhere near as much damage. The worst thing that is really going to happen whenever you're fighting this team is basically Ran does his shit. This procs Elena. Elena's then going to go. Depending on your speed tuning and based on whatever else the enemy is going to do, gives you a really great opportunity to use S3, gives you invincibility on every unit, and then you're going to start moving on down the bar as the AoEs hit. As they hit, then Lone Crescent Bellona is going to take a turn. Take this opportunity, delete the Ran. Whenever Ran's deleted, then you just have to deal with Lilias and Senya. And then at this point, focus literally everything into the Lilias until Lilias is dead, because she's the one who's going to be bringing in the dual attacks. Kill her, and then kill Senya whenever you're finally at the end. And now, let's go ahead and talk about this one. So hey, it's Moon Bunny Dominiel, Navy Captain Landy, and then also an Urban Shadow Choux. Wow, seems mighty cancer. And yeah, it is. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have General Purrgis on the field. General Purrgis is there, and also straight up, that Urban Shadow Choux didn't have fucking immunity. Pretty important to have, but basically, that one hit goes into General Purrgis. General Purrgis stirred up tanks that hit like a fucking champ, and now the Urban Shadow Choux is provoked, so she's going to be going into... Martial Artist Ken whenever he has a chance. However, we also get lucky right here, and we happen to land a stun there. Also, we don't proc a lot of counters and salvos. We mainly can tank one salvo. If any more than that happened, we would have been fucked. Thankfully for that, no more than one really happens, and because we just didn't have any damage mitigation on the field. Now, if we did have damage mitigation, we would have been in a much better spot, but I decided to bring Arunka with me straight up just to deal with the Moon Bunny Dominiel, and if it just so happened I just get fucking destroyed by the Navy Captain Landy, and like Ken's dead, then Arunka can kind of finish the job. But either way, worked out! Hey, looky there, we get to fight this team again. Man, Ran be looking mid as fuck right now. Never thought I'd say that fucking sentence in a million goddamn years, because Ran is quite possibly one of the best fucking openers in the game. Don't worry, to those of you who've seen the video already, you know what the fuck is coming, but we'll get to it whenever we get to it. So literally, second verse, same as the first. You will do quite literally the exact same shit. So instead of just talking about this fight right here, let's actually talk about the fight that's going to be occurring the next time we fight a Lilias and Senya. So, what is it that this team that really makes it super, super cancerous? It's fucking Ran. Because one of my guildies just so elegantly put it to me, because I'm a fucking retard, that do you know who actually fights this team extraordinarily well? Fucking Knockwall. And that's a unit that I straight up wasn't even remotely thinking about. The reason why you can't use Knockwall into a lot of these teams most of the times is because Ran's there. Ran's more than likely going to speed contest and beat your Knockwalls unless you're just rocking straight up fucking hyper steroid gear. And basically, that's the only reason why you can't use her. Because Ran's going to go in AoE, and even if you have Guiding Light, hey, he's going to hit you, and you're pretty much going to be fucking dead because of it. Now, because Ran's not there, let's assume Ran's not there. Let's assume any other, like, opener's there. Then suddenly, you go on Knockwall, bring any mage with you that can hold book, bam, you have an irresistible strip that also cooldown reduces, or cooldown increases by one turn. This completely stops the cleave from actually happening. And then you can just bring whatever, like, carry DPS that you have with you, because Knockwall also does seal onto the Senya, which then gets rid of the crit resist. So then you can just straight up go into her. So yeah, works like a fucking charm. But we'll get to that in just a moment. And now onto this team right here. I've used this team several times. It is an Arunka, Rule of Light, and an Auxiliary Lots. Main goal is we're going into a Mono Light team, but the Mono Light team happens to have Unbound Knight Arowell. Unbound Knight Arowell there means on turn fucking 0, they all have barriers. Arunka's on the field. She likes to go nom, 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 and eat the fucking shit out of them barriers. So then Savior Adin is fucking dead. So then, naturally, okay, cool, I got hit by this and I'm stunned. So hey, we have Rule of Light here. That's a motherfucking cleanse. Hey, looky there, it's Auxiliary Lot's turn again. So the one thing in particular that I would say about this that feels kind of risky is anytime you're going into a Navy Captain Landy, and what if the Navy Captain Landy was like obscenely thick? You know, one of those kind of things. The only other thing that I'm considering possibly doing is replacing my Arunka's boot, and then maybe making it a main attack percentage boot. That's the only thing that I was actually considering doing. So if I can manage to get myself a boot that then has subs for speed on it, so then we'll lose like, what, maybe 20 or so speed, something like that, 20, 25, then we can end up doing even more damage and straight up be pretty much a foolproof way of going through it. And with that being said, Arunka, crazy cat lady, just straight up goes through, rips through the team. Now let's talk about the bullshit. So, what goes wrong here? So it's a Benevolent Roman, Senya, and then a Lilias. The thing that happens here is I was informed, okay, the team is somewhat slow, but the Benevolent Roman is extremely high on effectiveness. The problem is that I assumed Benevolent Roman was going to go first. Then he was going to apply, you know, the Death Down and the Silence, and then the actual cleave would kick in. Now, if Benevolent Roman went first, Elena would have then cleansed the Death Break off, and then we would have had one turn to really kind of deal with having Silence. Now, remember what I was talking about when it came to Knockwall? If we went in with a Knockwall strategy into this, we would have been fine. Also, if the Benevolent Roman was faster than the Senya, we would have also been fine. But because this person just straight up got me, hey, you got me, I'll fucking admit that, then I straight up lose right here. That's just the way it is. I'm not mad. I'm just a fucking idiot.
And nothing else to say.
Now, to those of you who have already seen it, what the fuck is Haste doing there? Well, the big reason as to why is I just fucking felt like it. So, Roana, Shadow Knight, Pyllis, and Haste. Well, opening turn from the Savior Adin did not fucking kill my Shadow Knight Pyllis, so I ain't fucking worried. So, hey, we'll go in, land with this big hit, which straight up, that first attack that Haste does not result in a counterattack. Because of that, I can kind of go into the Shadow Knight, I can go into the Savior Adin as I please. I happen to hit, so no big deal, but that was the big thing. Now, the only other thing that can really go wrong here, which ultimately makes me think maybe this isn't really a foolproof strategy, but I did this strictly for fun, is we don't see any Dust Devils from the Spirit Eye Celine at any point in here. Because we took a very, very large hit from the Savior Adin right then and there at the very beginning, we don't have high stacks of defense yet, and we are not able to really tank the hits from the Shadow Knight, or from the Spirit Eye Celine. Now, the Spirit Eye Celine's also going to be doing a lot of damage to Shadow Knight Pyllis in general anyway, because she straight up has a lot of Death Pen that's on her kit. Like, straight up, if that was a Dust Devil, that would have probably killed. Then we would have had no death, and we would have been at really, really low health. Thankfully, we survive it, and then we killed the Savior Adin. Now it's time to go into the Unbound Knight Arowell. Now, pay attention. The fun's really about to happen. And yeah, a little bit of luck happens here because we didn't land a Death Break early on at the very beginning of turn 1. But hey, looky there. Next turn, Haste is going to do something special. And right here, we kill the Unbound Knight Arowell. So then, Spirit Eye Celine does her bullshit, summons in everything back in, and oh, goody goody, look at the turn order there. So they all have immortality, and they're about to take their turns. So, Savior Adin and then Unbound Knight Arowell are going to go into Shadow Knight Pyllis. Now they don't have immortality anymore. And, time for this fucking skill again. Guess what it does? It lands bleeds, and it fucking strips. So those two units are dead, and then bleed procs right there on Spirit Eye Celine's turn, and she's fucking dead. How often will you ever see that? But either way, boys and girls, that is the Guild War. I hope you rather enjoyed this oh-so-wonderful 11 or so minute video. Yeah, it was fairly fast. A pretty big portion as to why it was because that second to last match was a complete fuck up on my part. But, kind of live and learn. It really goes to show like how little I use opening fast kind of cleave setups and comps, because I straight up didn't even fucking remember for some reason that Knockwall does cooldown increase. I don't know how the fuck I managed to forget that shit, but like, hey, gonna spend a little bit of time updating my Knockwall's gear and making sure I can actually use it whenever I actually need to, because yeah, I just straight up wasn't even thinking about it. But either way, to those of you who also saw my quality of life video that I put out, I put it out over the last weekend, and it actually had done somewhat well. I was hoping it would do a little bit more well, but you know what? I don't really give a fuck about the numbers. I don't care if it does exceptionally well or not. The big thing that I want out of it is I really, really want people to watch it. I want people to resonate with it, and I want people to make their own videos and contents about it. If you have something in particular you think is wrong with Epic 7, fucking make your voice known. I want this game to do well. But either way, boys, I hope you guys rather enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave me a like. If you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. Have a good one. Later.